The Secret Life of Evie Hamilton by Catherine Alliott. Read by Caroline Doughty. Chapter 1. Just recently, and it's hardly even worth mentioning, except perhaps as a reproof to myself, I find that whenever I enter a church, not only does my heart sink, but I'm invariably late. Today was no exception. As the sorrowful aroma of beeswax, stone, and candles contrived to lower my spirits, so the shrill tones of the female vicar, welcoming the congregation, confirmed my bad timing. As I crept in, a few heads near the back swiveled to smile sympathetically. I made to slide in amongst them, whispering apologetically, "Sorry, sorry." But my sister-in-law up near the front was having none of it. Her pointy features, flushed, irritated, and rotated at 180 degrees, were hard to miss. "Down here," she was mouthing theatrically, beckoning me like an Italian traffic policeman. She even had the white gloves. White gloves! Dutifully, I gathered my hymn book and handbag, and hastened, head bowed, down the aisle. As I hurried along, I inadvertently looked up and caught the eye of my brother, in his rather too tight houndstooth check suit, up by the altar, in his occasional capacity of churchwarden. He rolled his eyes in mock horror and gave me a huge wink. "We were worried about you," Caro hissed as I squeezed in beside her. Everyone in the pew shoved up a bit. "You're so late." "Sorry," I muttered. "Traffic was horrific." "On a Sunday?" I shrugged helplessly, as if to suggest I could hardly be held accountable for the vagaries of Oxford's one-way system, and craned my neck past her to greet the rest of my family, such as it was. Besides Caro, my mother and stepmother had both leaned forward to smile. Felicity, my stepmother, elegant in a taupe chenille jacket and vanilla silk skirt, and my mother, startling, in leopard print leggings and a pair of tangerine trainers and matching headband. She blew me an extravagant kiss. "What's she come as?" I muttered to Caro as I sat back. "Don't," she moaned, closing her eyes. "I swear she does it on purpose. I told her it was smart but casual, as in no hats. But she looks as if she's out on day release, as if the minibus just dropped her off." I suppressed a smile and turned my attention to the vicar, visiting for the occasion. Not the villagers' usual, but very enthusiastic, and, despite a telltale flush up her neck, really getting into her stride, encouraging us in carrying tones to support these young people before us, to applaud them in this their momentous decision to foster their faith. I smiled. Jack, my nephew, one of the 6 or 7 teenagers in the front pew, the sun from the stained glass window shining through his ears, making them glow pink, his red hair disheveled and hanging over the collar of an uncharacteristic tweed jacket, had the grace to turn and flash me a grin. When he'd cycled into college one day to see us, and I'd casually inquired as to his motives, he'd replied in surprise, "Oh, you get terrific presents. Hugh Palmerton got a diving watch, and his godfather gave him a digital camera." As I'd raised faintly startled eyebrows, he'd rushed on, "And obviously I believe and all that stuff, and it's a good idea if you want to get married." He nodded sagely. "Saves a lot of hassle." I had an idea he was confusing confirmation with baptism, but grasped the general sentiment. He was getting something under his juvenile belt, another notch on his list of must-dos. Get GCSEs, play in the cricket team, snog a girl at a party. Getting confirmed, whilst not necessarily up there with the snog, was still a rite of passage to be doggedly manoeuvred. He was at a particular stage on his greasy pole, as I supposed, glancing around, was on mine. There was a time when I used to go to church for weddings, Saturday after Saturday, and then christenings, Sunday after Sunday, and now, with unerring regularity.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?